So a question I get asked by parents a lot of the time is, how do I improve my child's mathematical ability? And my normal answer to this is to learn something new, practice some questions, mark them, and correct any errors you have. And this is the technique to improve your maths. Now, a lot of people already know this. So they ask, is there anything else that you can do that's different to that? Because, they've already done that. And I say, yeah, there's a number of things that you can do, and especially at a younger age. So a number of things that I used to do as a child was jigsaw puzzles. So jigsaw puzzles are very helpful with mathematical ability. Sudoku puzzles, slightly when you're slightly older. Learning a musical instrument is a good one. Playing chess, or if they're younger, they can play drafts or checkers. Another thing that I used to do, probably from the age of about 7, was what we call a logic grid puzzle. Now, when I was young, you had to buy puzzle books to do these, but now you can just find them online for free. And they increase in difficulty by increasing the grid size. And that's basically what I'm going to talk to you about. So I'm going to talk to you about logic grid puzzles today. All right, well, basically, what is a logic grid puzzle? This is where you've got a series of categories and an equal number of options within each category. Now, each option is used exactly once, and you need to find out which options are linked together using a series of clues that are provided. Now, each puzzle has only one unique solution and is solved logically. There's no guessing or general knowledge required. If you can link two options, you place a circle between the intersection of those two options. If you can eliminate two options, so if you know that two things definitely do not happen, you place an X. The best way for me to do this is to show you an example of this. Now, I found you a free website that allows you to practice these logic grid puzzles, and I'm going to show you exactly how to complete one of these. I'm going to stick with the easiest level available, but I will show you all the levels of difficulty that you can find on here. So here's one of the websites that I found, logic.puzzlebaron.com. And this is an example of a logic grid puzzle. So this is the website, and you can access it for free. You don't need to register. And here is an example of a logic grid puzzle. So the circles mean that there's a connection between the owner Fernando and the year 2007. And there's also a connection between Anita and 2008. There's not a connection between Barbara and 2007. That's why there's a cross there. And the idea is you need to find out which owner links to which breed, which links to which dog, which links to which year. All right, and that's what we're going to find in this. Now, the one we're going to do is going to be totally random, so let's pick one. So you click on Start a New Puzzle, and these are the different sizes available. I'll show you all the different sizes later. And then there's easy, moderate, and challenging. We're going to stick to easy for this. So this is the easiest level that you can do. So click Start this puzzle, and I'm just going to talk you through it. The timer has already started, but there's a bunch of clues. Let's look through the story. So there's a backstory. The Ocean Isle Knitting Club recently held a friendly contest where any member could submit one of their knitted creations using only the clues below, match each knitter to the item submitted, and determine the color and the final placement, first, second, etc. in the contest. Okay, if you have any notes, I tend not to use this, and then your answers will automatically complete this table. So let's have a look at the clues that we have. So the person who entered a blanket finished 2 places before Kimberly. So blanket finished 2 places before Kimberly. So your places are first, second, third, fourth. So if they faced to the person with the blanket, finished 2 places before Kimberly. Now this is telling us a number of things. If the person who entered the blanket finished 2 places before Kimberly, that means that the person could not have finished 4th or 3rd. Because if you finish 3rd, then you finish 2 places before 5th, and 4th you finish 2 places before 6th, and nobody finished 5th or 6th. So that means the person with the blanket finished 1st or 2nd. The person with the blanket finished 2 places before Kimberly. It also tells you that Kimberly is not the person with the blanket, because the person who entered the blanket finished 2 places before Kimberly. So Kimberly is not the person before the blanket. And it also tells you that if this person finished 2 places before Kimberly, that means Kimberly must have finished 2 places after the person with the blanket, which means that Kimberly did not finish first or second. Now, all of that was just from clue number 1. Kimberly made the sweater. So Kimberly and sweater. So this one is true. So what we'll do is we'll click until we get a circle. Now notice when we put a circle, it's automatically crossed out the rest of that column and the rest of that row, because if Kimberly made the sweater, that means Kimberly did not make the blanket, hats or mittens. And also if the sweater was made by Kimberly, that means that Geneva, Holly and Laverne did not make the sweater. So that's automatically done for you. Geneva is either the entrance who finished 4th or the knitter who finished 1st. Right, so this clue is always tricky, so we're going to come back to this one. The knitter who finished 1st is either the entrance who entered the sweater or the person who entered a mittens. Mittens, okay. And Holly finished 3rd. Okay, so this is helpful. Holly finished 3rd. So we can put that through. Right, so that's automatically cancelled out that column and that row. Now, what we have here, if you look at Kimberly, what do we know about Kimberly's position? She did not finish 1st, 2nd or 3rd. So she has to have finished 4th. So we can put a circle there. Right, now if we go into answers, what we'll see is our answers so far. So what we know is that Holly finished 3rd and Kimberly finished 4th. Right, now if we look at the Kimberly line, Kimberly finished 4th and Kimberly made the sweater. That means that the person who finished 4th made the sweater. Yeah, so if Kimberly came 4th and Kimberly made the sweater, that means the person who came 4th made the sweater. So I can put a circle there. And now we've got that complete link there. So 4th place was Kimberly and she made the sweater. All right, so let's go back. Let's see if we can do anything else. The person who entered her blanket finished 2 places before Kimberly. Okay, that's now helpful because we know that Kimberly finished 4th. So 2 places before Kimberly would be 2nd. So the person with the blanket finished 2nd. So I can put a circle there. Kimberly made the sweater, which we already done. Geneva is either the entrance who finished 4th, right, or the knitter who finished 1st. So did Geneva finish 4th? No, Geneva definitely did not finish 4th because Kimberly's finished 4th. So Geneva is the knitter who finished 1st. So Geneva finished 1st. And it also says Geneva is the knitter who finished 1st. So yeah, that's fine. So we've got that covered. Now if you look in this 4x4 grid, the only person who doesn't know their position is Laverne, and the only position that's not been taken is 2nd. So we can put a circle there. Right, so we've got all of that. That one's done. The knitter who finished 1st, which we now know is Geneva, is either the entrance who entered her sweater. Did Geneva enter her sweater? No, she did not, because Kimberly did a sweater. So it's either the person who entered the sweater, which is not, or the person who entered mittens. Now because Geneva is not the person who entered the sweater, Geneva must be linked to mittens. So I'll put a circle there. Now if we look down at this column, Geneva finished 1st with mittens. That means the person who finished 1st did mittens. So I can put a circle there. And if we look at this 4x4 grid, the only placement that we have left is 3rd, and the only item we have left is hat. So we must have a circle here. And we're pretty much done because the hat came in 3rd place and Holly made the hat. So Holly and hat, put a circle there, and then there's only one grid left. So that's our grid. So there's our table, and all we do is click submit to see if we got it. And congratulations, we did get it. Right, and we did it in 372 seconds, which is very slow compared to average, but we got it all correct. Right, and then you can go on to increase the difficulty of the puzzle. So you can change the difficulty range. I'd probably keep this at easy all the time, and now we just increase the grid size. So if we look at a 3x5 grid, this will just mean that instead of 4 options in each category, there's now 5 options in each category. That's a 3x5, and then a 4x4. These ones are a little bit more tricky because before we were just looking at these 3 4x4 grids. Now we have 6 4x4 grids with 4 options. And obviously the number of clues will increase because there's no other way of, you need more clues to be able to answer that. And if we look at the biggest one, so this is the same size grid but 7 options in each category. And you've got 14 different clues there. And this is the easy level, and if you want to make it harder, you can just change the level of difficulty to challenging. And this would be really tough, like this. Okay, and that's basically the hardest level that you can find. And these are all logic grid puzzles. So what I would do is I would start with the same size grid that I did, so a 3x4, and stick to easy. And once you can sort of do one of these in about 3 minutes, if you can do one of these in about 3 minutes, I would move on to the next size. So the next size after the one that's called a 3x4 is a 3x5, and then a 4x4, 4x5, 4x6, and a 4x7. So there we have it. That's a logic grid puzzle. Why not have a go at one of these with your child and see who gets there first? What I can tell you is the more you practice these, the quicker you get. The first time I did this last week, it took me a lot longer to do one of these grids. Now I can get one of these done typically in about under 2 minutes of this size. But the first time I did it, it took me about 10 minutes. So do not panic if it takes you 10 minutes to do the grid the first time. As you practice them, you'll get better and better, just like you do in maths. So give it a go and let me know how you get on. See you next time. Bye.